He thought she would stay no matter what. Until he came home to an empty house. After praying together that night, Bikulo and her husband went to bed. The next morning, he got ready for work as usual. 1 hour later, Bikulo gave birth to a beautiful baby boy. She was overwhelmed with joy. According to the African culture, giving birth to a son meant the family's legacy and name would continue for another generation. It was a moment of honor and celebration. Her husband couldn't contain his excitement. Oh my God, I have a son. From that day forward, their home was filled with happiness. Bikulo devoted herself completely to her family. She cleaned the house, cared for her husband, and lovingly raised their son. 5 years passed. Their little boy was finally old enough to start school. Every morning, Bikulo would prepare breakfast, get her son ready for school, and help her husband get ready for work before sending them both off with a smile. Life felt perfect. Over the years, Bikulo's husband had completely forgotten about the promise the village elder had once asked him to consider. His only priorities were his wife and his son, or so he thought. One evening, after returning home from work, he sat in the living room watching soccer when his phone rang. It was the village elder. "My son," the old man said with a weak voice, "I am very sick. The doctors say if I don't receive treatment soon, I may not survive. Have you thought about marrying my daughter? I am terrified that if I die, she will have no one left to care for her. I know you're a good man. I've watched how you've cared for Bikulo, and I know my daughter would be safe with you." The call caught him completely off guard. Without hesitation, he replied, "Please don't worry. I will pay for all your medical bills. I'll send money immediately and make sure you receive the best doctors available. Nothing will happen to you." The elder thanked him with tears in his eyes. Bikulo's husband immediately sent money to the village to cover every medical expense. The doctors did everything they could, but it wasn't enough. The village elder passed away. His daughter was left completely alone. Her mother had died 10 years earlier. Now she had no parents, no family, no one to lean on. When Bikulo's husband heard the news, guilt filled his heart. He remembered the elder's final wish. "Take care of my daughter." He began thinking to himself, "This is now my responsibility. I have to marry her." But then another thought crossed his mind. "How am I going to tell Bikulo? How do I explain this to my wife and my son?" He tried to convince himself. Bikulo understands what it feels like to lose a father. She was once alone in the village too. She has a compassionate heart. Surely she'll understand. That evening, he finally gathered the courage. "My wife," he said softly, "how would you feel if I brought another woman into our marriage?" Bikulo stared at him in complete shock. "Husband, whatever spirit is putting those thoughts into your mind, may God remove it. Are you feeling all right? Are you sick?" He laughed. "No, my wife, I'm serious. I want to marry a second wife." Tears immediately filled Bikulo's eyes. "Why? Did I do something wrong? Did I fail you somehow?" He gently shook his head. "No, my love, you've done everything to make me happy. But I made a promise to someone." He explained everything. The village elder, his dying wish, his daughter. Before he could finish, Bikulo quietly interrupted him. "Is this the village elder's daughter?" He froze. "Yes. How did you know?" "So, this is the secret you've been keeping from me ever since you returned from the village?" He lowered his head. "Yes." Bikulo took a deep breath. "Husband, there are many ways to help her without marrying her," she continued. "When I was living in the village after my father died, a man from the city came looking for someone to help his family. He didn't marry another wife. He simply gave a village girl a job. I became that girl. I cooked, cleaned, cared for his daughters, and earned money to support my family. That family eventually became my own." She smiled through her tears. "You know that man. He became my husband." She looked directly into his eyes. "Why don't we do the same for the elder's daughter? Bring her here. Let her live with us. Give her work. Pay her well. One day she'll find someone to marry and build her own family, just like I did." For a brief moment, her husband smiled. "That's actually a good idea." But then his expression changed. "Except that's not the promise I made. I told the elder I would marry his daughter. I have enough money to care for 2 wives. I'll buy her one of my houses. You'll still remain my first wife and continue managing everything." "What do you think?" Bikulo's tears rolled freely down her face. "If marrying her is what will make you happy, then go ahead. I won't stop you. But when you return, you will not find me here." He stared at her in disbelief. What? I married you because I wanted one husband. I wanted to love one man with my whole heart until the day I die. But I cannot share my husband. I choose my dignity over money. I choose my peace over property. I choose my self-respect over comfort. Our son will always have both of us as parents, but we will no longer be husband and wife. So, before you leave for the village, we must decide who our son will live with. Our husband became furious. So you're willing to throw everything away simply because I want to fulfill a promise? Bikulo calmly answered, I'm not stopping you. I'm supporting your decision, but you cannot force me to live a life I don't want. You have the freedom to choose your happiness. I also have the freedom to choose mine. A few days later, he traveled back to the village. He paid the bride price. He married the village elder's daughter. Then he proudly brought his new wife back to the city. But the moment he opened the front gate, everything felt different. The house was silent. No warm welcome. No smile from Bikulo. No little footsteps running toward him. No laughter from his son. Only silence. He slowly walked through every room. Empty. Bikulo was gone. Mama was gone. His son was gone. The warmth that once made the house feel like home had completely disappeared. His new wife quietly walked upstairs, unsure of what to do. He remained sitting alone on the couch. The silence became unbearable. He whispered to himself, what have I done? Did I lose them forever? Did I make the biggest mistake of my life? Then he tried to comfort himself. No, I'll talk to Bikulo tomorrow. I'll convince her to come home. I'll ask Mama to help me persuade her. She'll understand. At least, that's what he hoped. But was it already too late? What do you think? Did Bikulo make the right decision by leaving? Should she forgive her husband and return? Or has he lost the family he loved forever? Comment what you think below. Stay tuned for the next episode of Bikulo's Unbearable Hope.